now. Then. All right. So in Steamboat, Airbnb, we're going to talk a little bit about today, with the, obviously all the rules and regulations with Airbnb. And we'll bounce a little bit about through the resort areas. Christine, why don't you talk a little bit about what's going on with Airbnb right now? Short-term rentals.
I can provide a general information about Airbnb and its impact on rural areas briefly. Airbnb is an online marketplace that allows people to rent out their properties, whether it be a room, an entire house, or an entire other accommodations. It has gained popularity in various areas of the world, including rural areas, as it provides an opportunity for property owners to generate income by renting out their spaces to travelers. In some rural areas, the rise of Airbnb and other short-term rental platforms have sparked debates and concerns. Some of the common issues associated with Airbnb rentals in rural areas include the following: housing affordability. The increased popularity of short-term rentals can lead to a reduction in available housing for local residents, potentially driving up rental prices and making it more challenging for residents to find affordable housing.
That's for sure.
Community disruption. The influx of tourists on short-term rentals into rural communities can sometimes lead to disturbances, such as noise, parking issues, or changes in the character of the community. This can cause tension between residents and property owners. And there again, you can't get a fire department up there on bad roads, ambulances, etc. Traffic can be difficult. There's a lot of issues that the community Flight for Life has to deal with in regards to this. And the regulatory challenges, the municipalities can face challenges in regulating short-term rentals, especially in rural areas where local regulations may not have anticipated the rapid growth of platforms like Airbnb. Local governments may need to adapt or change new regulations to address the concerns related to zoning, safety, a big one, taxation, and compliance, which we're all seeing now come into play in these resort areas. And the rise of platforms like Airbnb and VRBO, formerly HomeAway, and others, has facilitated the growth of short-term rental market, allowing property owners to list their homes or vacation properties for rent on short-term rental basis. This trend has both positive and negative effects on resorts and the surrounding areas. The positive effects would be revenue generation. Resorts that embrace short-term rentals can benefit from the additional revenue generated by these hosting vacation property rentals. They can earn income from renting out their own properties or partnering with homeowners in the vicinity. Increased tourism, short-term rentals attract a different demographic of travelers who prefer the flexibility, the space, and amenities provided by vacation rentals. This can lead to increased tourism, and it can actually footall the resort area. And there again, it's a benefit to local businesses.
But there's an issue with the regulations, obviously with the rural, but with the local businesses in these urban areas too. Is that correct?
Yes. Diversification. Resorts that can incorporate short-term rentals. Diversity, their offerings providing more accommodation options, which I'm talking about now, options for visitors. This can attract a broader range of guests and extend their stay durations. Now we have the negative effects, which is competition. The rise of short-term rentals can intensely competition for traditional hotels and resorts in the area. As you know, these establishments may experience a decrease in bookings as visitors opt for vacation rentals instead. So they're actually stepping into their territory of commercial business actually. Housing authority and affordability. The popularity of short-term rentals in resort areas can contribute to increased property prices and reduce long-term housing availability, which we've all experienced in these areas. And now it's becoming, a major force of driving the governments of where they need to set rules and regulations.
Explosive growth.
Absolutely. Property owners may choose to convert their properties into vacation rentals rather than offering them for long-term residential leases, which we're seeing now governments step in and making new requirements for licensure in regards to this because there's no housing for the working class. They're driving 2 hours to just get to their job, to and fro.
You're talking to a guy in Battle Mountain Mesa. 2 hours.
2 hours. I did a bus driver today I talked to lived in Quebec, Colorado.
That's even more than 2 hours.
Community. Some residents in short-term express concerns about the effect of short-term rentals on their community's character. They worry about the issues like noise disturbances, transient populations, and the erosion of the local neighborhood feel. They have no idea who's staying in the neighborhood. There's parties
and the culture.
At night, the culture, the loud, the noise, and they don't feel their children are safe sometimes. They have no idea who's staying within these homes. So it's worth noting that the status and impact of short-term rentals in resorts can be very dependent on local regulations and community dynamics. It's not, since my knowledge really isn't up to date concerning what we're seeing in the paper daily, I recommend checking in with the latest information and regulations specific to the resort or location
and get active.
Interested in.
And get active out there, and take note of your community.
Yeah.
It's like we were talking about. We've lost all of our local feel, our local vibes, our local hangouts, and people hanging out there that are locals.
Right.
We've all lost that feel, that community.
You need to get interested in to obtain the most accurate and current details, so you're not violating the rules and regulations of your neighborhood, and have a respect for your neighbor and the culture that was built in these resorts. And these people were not necessarily wealthy people. They were hardworking people that could live in these neighborhoods with their children and run a small business.
That's good. And if you out there, if you're in one of these communities and you're struggling to either find a place to live or doing the same as all of us, get active in your local community and take part. We are, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you.